Listen to me closely because what I'm about to say can change the entire trajectory of your life. Willpower is not some mystical gift that only a chosen few are born with. It's not reserved for the elite, the rich, or the naturally disciplined. Willpower is built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. It's forged in the fires of resistance, refined in the face of temptation, and strengthened when you feel like quitting but choose to stand tall. If you've ever told yourself, I wish I had more discipline, understand this willpower is not something you wait for. It's something you create. Willpower is not something that magically appears in a person's life. It is something that is forged through intentional effort, persistence, and commitment. People often look at those who seem disciplined and assume that they were born with some rare inner strength. But the truth is that strength was developed through years of choices and sacrifices. It is a process, not a gift. Willpower is cultivated in the small, unseen moments where you decide to follow through with what you said you would do, regardless of how you feel in the moment. The problem is not that you lack willpower, it is that you have not trained it. Like a muscle that has not been worked, it may feel weak, but weakness is not permanent. It is simply the starting point of growth. Willpower is formed through resistance, and resistance is something that must be embraced rather than avoided. When you choose the path of least resistance every time, you are training yourself to rely on comfort rather than character. It's when you push against your comfort zone, when you choose discipline over distraction, when you take action despite your feelings, that willpower is strengthened. Growth never comes in ease. It comes in moments where quitting feels easier, but you refuse to bow to that urge. Each moment of resistance you face is an opportunity to build a stronger version of yourself, one who is capable of achieving more than you ever imagined. The process of building willpower requires consistency, not perfection. Too many people wait for perfect conditions before they begin, thinking they need to feel motivated or inspired every day to be consistent. The truth is, willpower grows the most on days when motivation is absent. It is in those times when you feel least like doing what you know you must do that your discipline is truly forged. Willpower is not a spark that ignites randomly. It is a fire that must be tended to daily, no matter how small the flames may seem at first. Willpower is built through intentional habits. Each habit you form creates pathways in your mind that make discipline easier over time. At first, it feels like climbing uphill, like every step takes more effort than it should, but with repetition, it becomes part of who you are. The battle is often not about doing something once, but doing it repeatedly until it becomes part of your identity. You are either training yourself to follow through or training yourself to give up. And every choice you make reinforces one of those patterns. Habits are the building blocks of your character, and willpower is the foundation that allows you to create them. There is no shortcut to building willpower because it is not something that comes from external validation. It is developed internally. Nobody can give you discipline. Nobody can hand you persistence. You cannot borrow someone else's mental toughness. It must be built within you. And while that may sound like a challenge, it is actually empowering because it means you are fully in control of whether or not you develop it. No circumstance, no person, and no past failure can prevent you from building a stronger will if you are willing to commit to the process. Willpower is built in the small, daily decisions that most people ignore because they don't seem significant at the moment. It is in choosing to wake up at the time you committed to, even when no one would know if you stayed in bed. It is in choosing to complete the work you promised yourself you'd do, even when no one is checking. It is in refusing to break promises to yourself because you recognize that self-respect is tied to your ability to follow through. When you treat every small choice as an opportunity to build strength, you realize that willpower is not a one-time achievement, but a lifestyle. Every person has moments of temptation, moments where they feel pulled toward what is easy, what is comfortable, what provides immediate gratification. The difference between those who have strong willpower and those who don't is not that one group doesn't feel temptation. It is that they've trained themselves to choose long-term results over short-term pleasure. This kind of strength is not developed overnight, but every time you resist the urge to take the easy way out, you are carving a path of discipline in your mind. Over time, your ability to choose what is right over what is easy becomes second nature. Building willpower also requires a deep level of self-awareness. You must understand what triggers your weaknesses, where your focus slips, and how your environment influences your decisions. Willpower is not just about pushing through with sheer effort. It is also about structuring your life in a way that makes discipline easier to sustain. The more aware you are of your patterns, the more you can prepare for moments of temptation rather than being blindsided by them. Preparation is a part of discipline, and strategy is a key to success. Another critical part of building willpower is learning to silence negative self-talk. So many people sabotage their own growth because they have convinced themselves that they are weak, lazy, or incapable. Your mind will always try to find evidence for what you believe about yourself. So if you keep repeating that you lack willpower, you will find proof of that in your actions. To build strength, you must start speaking strength into yourself. Willpower is not just a physical act of doing hard things. It is a mental act of believing that you are capable of becoming the person who can handle challenges. Ultimately, willpower is not a destination, but a constant practice. It is the discipline to keep moving forward when you want to stop, to keep showing up when you want to quit, and to keep doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It is not glamorous, and it is not always rewarded immediately, but it is the foundation on which all success is built. Those who have strong willpower are not superhuman. They are simply those who have trained themselves to push past what feels comfortable in order to pursue what they truly desire. Discipline is not a gift that falls into your lap. It is something that grows only through action. People often assume that disciplined individuals were simply born that way, as if they somehow inherited a natural ability to resist temptation and stay committed. But discipline is developed through consistent effort. Every action you take in alignment with your goals is a seed planted in the soil of your future self. The more you act with intention, the more discipline takes root in your life. You cannot wait for feelings of motivation or inspiration to create discipline because those feelings are fleeting and unreliable. Discipline is built when you choose to do what you know you need to do regardless of how you feel. Discipline thrives in motion, not in theory. Thinking about being disciplined or planning to be disciplined will not change your life until action is taken. It's in waking up early when your bed feels warm and inviting. It's in working on your craft when distraction is calling your name. It's in sticking to your commitments even when they are inconvenient. Each active follow through sends a message to your mind that you can trust yourself to do what you said you would do. Over time, these consistent actions stack on top of one another, creating a strong foundation of self-control and reliability. You cannot become disciplined by simply wishing for it. You must live it daily through deliberate choices. Discipline is a skill that strengthens with repetition. The first time you choose discipline over comfort, it feels difficult, maybe even unnatural. But the more you repeat that choice, the easier it becomes. Your brain begins to associate action with results, and this rewiring creates momentum. Momentum is powerful because it makes the next disciplined choice feel less like a battle and more like a habit. When you take action consistently, discipline stops being a struggle and starts being a way of life. This is why people who seem effortlessly disciplined are not actually operating on sheer willpower every day. They are simply reaping the benefits of thousands of disciplined actions they've already taken. Discipline grows when you stop negotiating with yourself. The moment you give your feelings the authority to decide whether or not you follow through, you've already lost the battle. Action is what silences the inner dialogue that tries to talk you out of doing what you know is necessary. The more you act without overthinking, the stronger your discipline becomes because you are training yourself to act based on principles, not emotions. Emotions fluctuate, but action grounded in commitment creates stability. Every time you refuse to negotiate with your excuses, you are watering the seed of discipline, allowing it to grow stronger within you. Action is the training ground for discipline because every action you take teaches you something about yourself. When you act, even imperfectly, you are building resilience. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means consistency in the face of imperfection. The willingness to keep taking action, even when you fail or fall short, is what develops true strength. Every setback becomes a lesson, and every lesson equips you with more mental toughness. Over time, you stop fearing failure because you've learned that action is always more valuable than hesitation. This mindset shift is where discipline begins to thrive because you are no longer tied to perfection. You are tied to progress. Discipline is deeply connected to self-respect, and that respect is built through action. When you keep the promises you make to yourself, you begin to see yourself as someone who is trustworthy and capable. On the other hand, when you constantly break your own word, your self-image suffers, and it becomes harder to believe in yourself. Every time you take action, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Those votes add up and create an identity of discipline. You start to see yourself differently because your actions have proven your commitment. This internal transformation fuels external results because your behavior is a reflection of your self-belief. The growth of discipline is also tied to structure. Structure is created through action, not thought. Routines and systems are not built by simply wanting them. They are created by taking action repeatedly until they become second nature. This is why disciplined people often seem organized and focused. It's not because they are naturally that way, but because they've acted their way into routines that support their goals. The more structure you create through consistent action, the less energy you waste on decision making and procrastination. Your mind becomes clearer and your actions become more intentional. Action is also the answer to procrastination, which is one of the greatest enemies of discipline. Procrastination thrives when you overthink, When you let fear or doubt paralyze you, the only way to break its grip is to move, to take even the smallest step forward. That step creates momentum, and momentum is the fuel of discipline. Every time you take action despite your hesitation, you weaken procrastination's hold on you. Over time, you develop a habit of acting quickly and decisively, and this habit becomes a defining characteristic of a disciplined person. Discipline is not about how you feel, it is about what you do. There will be days when you don't feel motivated, when you feel tired or discouraged, but those are the days when discipline grows the most. Every time you take action on a day when you'd rather quit, you strengthen your mental fortitude. This is why discipline is so powerful. It is not dependent on circumstances or emotions. It is built through deliberate action, repeated over time, until it becomes a part of your identity. People who achieve greatness are not those who never feel lazy or unmotivated. They are those who act regardless of those feelings. True discipline is born in the quiet, unseen moments where no one is watching and no one is clapping. It is formed when you choose action in private long before your results are visible to others. This is why discipline is a rare quality, because it requires doing hard things without immediate reward. But with each act of discipline, you are shaping yourself into someone capable of achieving extraordinary results. Action is the raw material that builds this strength. And the more you act in alignment with your vision, the more unstoppable your discipline becomes. Vision is the driving force that gives meaning to willpower, because without a clear picture of where you are going, your ability to stay disciplined and focused will always fade when life gets hard. A strong vision acts as a compass, giving direction to every decision and every action you take. When you know exactly what you are working toward, your willpower becomes stronger because it has a purpose to serve. Many people fail to follow through not because they lack discipline, but because they lack a vision compelling enough to sustain them through challenges. Vision creates a sense of urgency, a sense of calling, and a sense of responsibility that transforms ordinary effort into unstoppable determination. Willpower is not meant to operate in isolation. It is a servant of vision. When your goals are unclear, willpower feels like a burden because you're forcing yourself to do hard things without knowing why. But when you have a vivid image of the life you are working to create, every act of discipline feels meaningful. Vision is what makes you wake up earlier, push through fatigue, and work harder than those who have no direction. It's not just about self-control. It's about aligning every ounce of your energy with the future you see so clearly in your mind. Without that image, resistance becomes unbearable, but with it, resistance becomes fuel. A powerful vision taps into emotion, and emotion is what strengthens your resolve. Logic alone will not keep you moving forward when you're tired, discouraged, or facing setbacks. It is the emotional connection to your vision that ignites the fire of perseverance. When you can see yourself holding that trophy, building that business, changing your family's future, or living in alignment with your purpose, you create a deep internal motivation that no external obstacle can extinguish. Willpower becomes easier to access because you are emotionally invested in your outcome. And that emotional investment creates a resilience that defies logic. Vision allows you to endure temporary discomfort because it gives you a glimpse of long-term reward. People who have no vision often crumble at the first sign of resistance because they cannot see past the pain of the present moment. But those who have a crystal clear vision of where they are headed are willing to endure sacrifice because they understand that pain is temporary, but the reward is lasting. Vision reframes challenges and turns them into stepping stones. Instead of seeing hard work as suffering, you see it as a privilege because every moment of discipline brings you closer to what you see so vividly in your mind. Vision also creates focus, and focus is essential for sustaining willpower. When you know exactly what you are pursuing, distractions lose their power over you. Every temptation to settle, every opportunity that doesn't align with your goals becomes easier to reject because you know where you're going. Without vision, your energy is scattered and your willpower becomes drained by trying to fight off too many competing priorities. But when your vision is clear, your mind and body operate in harmony because all your actions are tied to a single direction. Focus makes discipline easier because you're no longer battling confusion or uncertainty. The size of your vision determines the strength of your willpower. If your goals are small, your effort will be small because your brain does not feel challenged or inspired. But when your vision is big, bold, and beyond your current reality, it awakens a deeper level of determination within you. A powerful vision stretches your belief system, forcing you to rise to the level of your potential. Willpower becomes a natural byproduct because you are driven by something larger than yourself. The clearer and bigger your vision, the easier it is to make sacrifices because you understand that your actions are building something extraordinary. Vision acts as a source of hope, and hope is essential for sustaining effort when results are not immediate. There will be seasons when your actions do not seem to produce visible progress, and those are the moments that test your resolve. Without a vision, those moments feel pointless and quitting feels reasonable. But when you carry a vivid picture of your future, you can press on because you are not working for today's reward. You are working for tomorrow's transformation. Vision gives meaning to the grind, allowing you to push forward even when no one else understands why you are working so hard. Having a strong vision also simplifies decision making, which preserves your mental energy and strengthens your willpower. When you know your destination, you don't waste time debating every choice or wondering if you're on the right path. Your vision acts as a filter for every decision, making it clear what aligns with your goals and what doesn't. This mental clarity frees up your willpower to focus on execution rather than constant deliberation. The more clearly you see your future, the less time you waste on distractions, and the stronger your ability to stay consistent becomes. Vision not only strengthens your willpower, but also shapes your identity. When you can see yourself living at a higher level, your actions begin to align with that image. You no longer identify with old habits or excuses because your vision has redefined who you are. Identity is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. Once you see yourself as a disciplined person, you naturally act in ways that reinforce that belief. Vision creates that identity shift. And with every act of discipline, you prove to yourself that the person you see in your mind is real. Vision is the foundation of all perseverance because it provides something worth fighting for. Without it, effort feels like punishment, but with it, effort feels like purpose. Every great achievement in history was born from someone who had a clear vision of what they wanted to create long before it existed. That vision gave them the willpower to endure rejection, hardship, and delay because they were not working for approval. They were working for a future they could already see. When your vision is powerful enough, nothing can stop you from building the strength to make it a reality. Small choices may seem insignificant in the moment, but they are the building blocks of strength, character, and resilience. Every decision you make, no matter how small, shapes the direction of your life. People often wait for big opportunities or life-changing moments to transform themselves, but true growth happens in the tiny decisions you make daily. Choosing to wake up on time instead of hitting the snooze button seems small, but it is a vote for the disciplined version of yourself. Choosing to exercise when you don't feel like it, choosing to say no to distractions, choosing to focus on your work for just a little longer. These are not random acts. They are bricks laid in the foundation of your future self. Strength is not built overnight, and it is not created through one massive decision. It is developed through repetition, through hundreds and thousands of seemingly small choices that compound over time. Just as a bodybuilder does not become strong after one workout, you will not become mentally strong after one disciplined action. Strength is forged in the consistency of your habits, and habits are formed through your daily choices. Every choice is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can trust yourself, and that trust creates confidence, and that confidence fuels more discipline. This is how small choices turn into unstoppable momentum. Small choices also rewire your brain over time. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, your mind begins to associate self-control with positive outcomes. You are teaching yourself to delay gratification, and this is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. The ability to delay gratification is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. It starts with choosing to do what is necessary in the moment instead of chasing temporary pleasure. Those tiny moments of discipline carve new patterns in your brain, making it easier to make good decisions in the future. Each small choice you make either reinforces strength or reinforces weakness. When you consistently choose the easier option, you are training yourself to quit when things get hard. But when you consistently choose what is difficult yet beneficial, you are strengthening your mental and emotional resilience. The choices themselves may not feel life-changing at the time, but over weeks, months, and years, they create a version of you that is either powerful or powerless. You don't suddenly become strong. You simply accumulate thousands of small victories that transform you into someone who is capable of more than you ever thought possible. Small choices are also a reflection of your standards. Many people fail not because they are incapable, but because they tolerate too much mediocrity in their daily lives. Your standards are not set by what you say you want. They are set by what you choose to do every day. If you choose to break promises to yourself, if you choose laziness over effort, if you choose distraction over focus, you are building a life that reflects those choices. On the other hand, when you choose excellence in small things, when you hold yourself accountable, even in areas no one else sees, you are building a life of strength. And that strength will show itself in bigger moments. The power of small choices lies in their compounding effect. One decision may not seem like much, but compounded over time, those decisions create either extraordinary success or quiet regret. Just as small amounts of money invested over time lead to wealth, small disciplined actions invested daily lead to strength and character. The compounding nature of these choices works both ways. Small acts of neglect also compound, leading to weakness and loss of confidence. This is why being intentional about small decisions is so important. They are never truly small because they shape the person you are becoming. Small choices also create momentum, and momentum is what makes success feel easier over time. At first, doing the right thing feels hard because your body and mind are used to taking the path of least resistance. But with each disciplined choice, you build momentum, and that momentum makes the next choice easier. Momentum is a force that works in both directions. If you consistently choose comfort, momentum will pull you deeper into complacency. But if you consistently choose growth, momentum will propel you forward towards strength and success. This is why small decisions matter so much. They create momentum that determines your future. The strength you develop through small choices is not just physical or mental, it is also emotional. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with yourself, and this trust creates emotional stability. Many people lack confidence because they have broken their own word too many times. They don't trust themselves to follow through, and that lack of trust weakens their resolve. But when you consistently make small choices that align with your goals, you rebuild that trust, and that trust becomes emotional armor. You begin to believe in yourself again because your actions prove your integrity. Small choices also teach you the power of discipline in the face of discomfort. Life will always present challenges, temptations, and obstacles, and those moments reveal whether you've been training yourself to be strong. Strength is not developed in the heat of battle. It is developed in the quiet moments when you decide to do what is right, even when it is inconvenient. When you make those choices consistently, you're not just building habits, you're building character. That character gives you the courage to face bigger challenges because you've already proven to yourself that you can overcome the small ones. Over time, these small choices create a ripple effect that impacts every area of your life. Strength is not just about enduring hardship, it is about positioning yourself to thrive. The person you become as a result of these decisions will have greater confidence, more self-control, and a stronger ability to lead and influence others. When people see your strength, they often assume it was always there, but you will know the truth. It was built one decision at a time, one moment at a time, one small choice at a time. Comfort is one of the most dangerous traps a person can fall into because it gives the illusion of safety while silently robbing you of growth. It whispers that you've done enough, that you can relax, that there's no need to push further. And while there is nothing wrong with rest, living in comfort as a default state will slowly strip you of your potential. Growth requires discomfort because growth means change, and change is never easy. The reason so many people stay stuck in the same place after year is because they have chosen the familiarity of comfort over the challenge of progress. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it comes at the cost of long-term fulfillment and success. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you are choosing to stay the same. Progress cannot happen without resistance, and resistance is uncomfortable by nature. When you lift weights, the discomfort of resistance is what builds strength. The same principle applies to every area of life. Growth requires you to step into situations that challenge your skills, your beliefs, and your habits. Yet, most people avoid those situations because they don't like the feeling of being stretched. This avoidance becomes a pattern, and over time, it creates a life of mediocrity. The truth is, you will either embrace discomfort now or face regret later. Comfort creates stagnation because it convinces you that your current level is enough, even when you know deep down that you're capable of more. People settle in their jobs, their relationships, and their goals because they're afraid of the pain that comes with change. That fear becomes a prison disguised as security. The longer you stay in comfort, the harder it becomes to break free because your mind and body become accustomed to an easy lifestyle. Growth requires breaking that pattern, and breaking patterns always feels uncomfortable at first. But that discomfort is a sign that you're growing stronger, not weaker. Comfort also dulls ambition. When you become too comfortable, your hunger for improvement fades. You stop dreaming big because dreaming big requires effort, risk, and sacrifice. You stop taking chances because chances involve uncertainty, and uncertainty is uncomfortable. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They are the ones who chase it. They understand that discomfort is where growth lives, where transformation happens, and where character is built. Comfort is a thief, and it steals your dreams quietly because it convinces you that staying where you are is safer than moving forward. Growth is always found outside your comfort zone because stepping into the unknown forces you to become resourceful. When you're comfortable, you're not challenged to think differently, to develop new skills, or to tap into hidden potential. Discomfort stretches you, and in that stretch, you discover strengths you never knew you had. That's why the most successful people deliberately put themselves in situations that challenge them, not because they enjoy pain, but because they understand that growth requires it. Discomfort forces you to evolve, and evolution is the essence of success. Comfort also weakens your resilience. When life becomes too easy, your tolerance for adversity decreases. You start to avoid challenges instead of embracing them, and as a result, your confidence suffers. Resilience is like a muscle, and if you never exercise it, it withers away. Choosing discomfort strengthens your resilience because it teaches you how to handle stress, pressure, and setbacks. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes normal, and your capacity for growth increases. Comfort robs you of this process, leaving you unprepared for the inevitable challenges that life will throw your way. The pursuit of comfort often leads to regret because comfort is a short-term reward with long-term consequences. You feel good in the moment when you avoid the hard work, but that good feeling doesn't last. Later, when you see others succeeding, when you realize you could have achieved more, when you feel stuck and unfulfilled, you pay the price of choosing comfort. On the other hand, those who consistently choose discomfort often experience the opposite. They pay the price up front through hard work and sacrifice, but reap long-term rewards of success, freedom, and confidence. Comfort is not only an enemy of growth, but also an enemy of purpose. When you settle for comfort, you stop pursuing the life you were created to live. You settle for less than your potential because comfort convinces you that average is acceptable. But deep down, you know that you were made for more. You know that there is greatness within you, and greatness cannot be unlocked by choosing what's easy. Purpose requires sacrifice, and sacrifice is never comfortable. Choosing comfort over growth is choosing to silence the calling inside of you. Comfort makes excuses easy to believe. When you're comfortable, you'll justify staying the same with thoughts like, I've worked hard enough. It's too late to change, or I'll start tomorrow. Those excuses feel valid because they protect you from the discomfort of growth. But every excuse you accept becomes a chain that ties you to your current reality. The only way to break free is to reject the voice of comfort and step boldly into the unknown. You will never feel fully ready to grow because growth is not about readiness. It's about willingness to face discomfort. The irony of comfort is that it doesn't actually lead to happiness. It promises peace, but it delivers stagnation. True fulfillment doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from overcoming them. Growth is where confidence, purpose, and strength are built, and that growth only comes through discomfort. Every person you admire, every leader, every innovator, every success story was forged in situations that were far from comfortable. They chose the hard path, and because of that choice, they became strong. Comfort may feel safe, but it keeps you small, and nothing extraordinary has ever been built in a comfort zone. Every decision you make, no matter how small, carries the power to shape the direction of your life. People often look at their future as something that will simply unfold on its own, as if destiny is a fixed path they cannot change. But destiny is not something you stumble into by accident. It is something you create through deliberate choices. Each choice is like a seed planted in the soil of time, and those seeds grow into habits, character, and outcomes. What you decide to do today will either build a future you are proud of or one you regret. Decisions are not isolated moments. They are building blocks that stack upon one another until they form the structure of your life. Every major turning point in life can be traced back to a series of decisions, many of which seem small at the time. The decision to get up early or sleep in, the decision to pursue excellence or settle for mediocrity, the decision to forgive or hold grudges, the decision to take a risk or stay safe. Each one of these shapes the person you become. Your destiny is not a mystery. It is a mirror reflecting the sum of your decisions. The truth is that every person has the same 24 hours each day, but it's the decisions they make in those hours that create drastically different lives. Greatness is not the result of one grand decision, but 1,000 small ones made with intention and consistency. Decisions carry weight because they define your standards. Your standards are not what you say you want. They are what you choose to accept. When you repeatedly choose what is easy over what is right, you are teaching yourself that comfort is more important than character. When you choose discipline over distraction, you are raising your standards and telling yourself that your future matters. Every choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you want to become, and over time, those votes form your identity. Your identity is the foundation of your destiny, and it is shaped one decision at a time. The power of decisions lies in their compounding effect. Just as small investments grow into wealth over time, small decisions grow into powerful habits that either propel you forward or hold you back. Habits are nothing more than decisions repeated until they become automatic. Once a habit is formed, it operates in the background of your life, either building you up or tearing you down. This is why being intentional about your decisions is so critical, because a single decision made repeatedly creates momentum, and momentum determines whether your destiny leads you to success or stagnation. Decisions also reveal your priorities. What you decide to do with your time, your energy, and your focus is proof of what you value most. Many people say they want success, but their decisions reveal that they value comfort more than growth. They say they want freedom, but their decisions reveal that they value instant gratification more than long-term reward. Your destiny will always align with your true priorities, not your stated intentions. When you begin to make decisions that reflect your highest values, your life begins to align with the vision you hold for your future. Fear is one of the greatest influences on decision making, and it has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Many people allow fear to dictate their choices, avoiding risk and discomfort because it feels safer. But avoiding risk is itself a decision, and it has consequences. When you choose safety over growth, you are also choosing to limit your potential. Destiny does not favor those who always play it safe. It rewards those who are willing to make bold, courageous choices in pursuit of their purpose. Every breakthrough in life is on the other side of a decision that felt uncomfortable at first. Decisions shape your character, and character shapes your destiny. Every time you make a decision to stand by your principles, even when it costs you something, you are strengthening your character. Character is not formed in easy moments. It is forged in the decisions you make when doing the right thing is the hardest thing. Over time, your character becomes a guiding force that helps you make better choices, creating a cycle of growth and integrity. When your character is strong, your decisions become easier because you have already decided the kind of person you are going to be. Your decisions also determine the company you keep, and your company influences your destiny. Choosing who you spend your time with is one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make. The people around you either push you toward your goals or pull you away from them. Every relationship you invest in shapes your mindset, your standards, and your habits. This is why being intentional about who you associate with is so important, because your destiny is not built in isolation. It is built through the influences you allow into your life. Decisions also determine how you respond to adversity. Life will always present challenges, and you cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your response. Choosing to see obstacles as opportunities rather than roadblocks is a decision that sets you apart. Some people allow challenges to define them, while others use those challenges as fuel for growth. The same adversity that destroys one person can strengthen another, and the difference lies in the decisions they make in the face of difficulty. Choosing to persevere when quitting seems easier is a decision that creates resilience, and resilience is essential for achieving your destiny. Ultimately, decisions are the steering wheel of your life. They determine the direction you are heading and whether or not you will reach the vision you hold for yourself. Every decision, no matter how small, carries significance because it is shaping the path you are on. Most people underestimate the power of their daily choices, but those daily choices are writing the story of their lives. Every time you choose growth over comfort, purpose over distraction, and excellence over mediocrity, you are actively shaping a destiny that reflects your highest potential.